it's really nice to see you again.
Yes, nice to see you too.
Yeah. So I wanted to start off with a provocative question.
Oh, surprise.
Why should therapists know more about Darwin?
Because Darwin knows a lot about us. Really, it's very basic. The theory of evolution is marvelous, and what's important about it is that it explains quite simply why we're built like we are, and why we do what we do, and how we learn to do it. It covers pretty much what therapists work with, I think. Just behavior and feelings and the connections among all of the above. There's also a little bitty role for the brain.
Over the years, it's interesting because it seems like you've always had that natural biology in your work.
Yes.
But it's been fascinating to see how it's become so explicit over the years.
Yes. There's, I think, two contributors to that. One is the farm background that I often mention, where you see all different kinds of animals in different contexts, different ages and stages, and learn a lot about behavior, interactive patterns, and basics. And part of it is respect for science that's truly database, not ritual database, but truly identifies mechanisms and measures them and shows that invoking mechanisms during therapy is related to outcome. That's good science.
Do you have any particular aspect of science or research that you've done that you're particularly proud of throughout your career?
Proud of?
Yes.
Do you mean in my career?
Yeah, in your career, yeah.
Oh, yeah, well, sure, it would be SEPI, and then the clinical derivative of that, which is IRT, an application of what I've learned by using SEPI.
How is it connected to the natural biology concept?
SEPI is based on sexuality, power, territory, and aggression. You don't get more basic than that. And everything is made up of those underlying components, really dimensions, I call them.
Where did you get this emphasis, this idea on threat and safety? Because it also becomes such a basic limelight, I think, in your thinking, very organizing in a way.
Well, yes, it was by following the logical trail. In psychotherapy, we deal with behavior if it's personality disorder focus, which is where I started because that's the most observable. And affect and cognition and all of that is based in the nervous system. So open high school biology book and you see parasympathetic nervous system and sympathetic. And that's what therapists work with. Sympathetic is the threat systems, anger, anxiety, depression mainly. Parasympathetic is the happiness things which get out of control in the case of bipolar manic episodes and certain kinds of narcissism. And behavior always is present. So I really wanted, when I decided to go to graduate school, to prepare to make a contribution that would invoke a scientific logic and evidence in psychotherapy. That was the goal. So I decided to get a good methodological background. Chose to work with Harry Harlow and his baby monkeys that had just started. And I thought that's pretty basic science for human behavior. So I went there, and then I had a major in learning theory, which is pretty relevant, and psychophysiology, and an outside department minor in mathematical statistics for methods. So I was on the trail. So I thought I needed tools to do this. I don't like just making stuff up. I like to argue it. So I got the tools. And then I needed clinical training, so I had 4 years of training as a postdoc in the Department of Psychiatry at University of Wisconsin. That was really helpful. Good supervisors. That was the days of analysts and, when psychotherapy had some depth. That's sarcastic.
Well, it's sarcastic, but I know that you also feel it's true.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's connected in a way with another interesting topic, which is that you've always been, at least for me, a fantastic advocate of long-term therapy, which seems also to be, in a sense, a bit of a dying art, I would say.
Yes, it is. I mean, it can, from an administrator's point of view, be an endless process and a lot of money down the drain with little visible results. I understand that issue. But genuine long-term therapy that is based on a powerful relationship and powerful ideas allows a person to differentiate from problem attachments internal and to begin to explore and develop him or herself. It needn't be super long, but it does need to be, I think, many months, maybe as long as a year. When I was younger, the zeitgeist supported longer treatments. I don't do that anymore. Mm-hmm. Maybe I'm just impatient. But I help people differentiate from problem attachments, internalized family members. You don't have to be alienated, but just separate. Yeah. And start them on the trail of learning and help them, if I can, settle into a constructive relationship, and then they go on the journey themselves.
Mm-hmm. But for me, it's kind of like you're saying two very important things also in between the lines, which is change is possible.
Oh my goodness, yes.
And it takes time.
Yes, it does. I don't need shortcuts.
Yeah. And those two suppositions, they seem very basic and kind of course, but at the same time, they are controversial, I would say. That real change is possible on the one hand, not just coping with whatever you've been given out, but also that whatever you want to do, it's going to take time.
Yes. For me, the change is a transformation of the relationship with what I call family in the head. Well, we call it internalized representations of attachment figures, and that's a better name. But I say family in the head.
It's catchier.
Yeah, it's catchy. And all kinds of people get to be family that way. But we have voices in the head, not actually hearing voices usually, but messages that definitely come from people that we love. And that includes parents, children, former lovers. Everybody's got a say in there.
We're all multiple personalities.
Yes, absolutely. We're not helpless in face of that, though. We have to integrate it and harvest what we'd like to cultivate.
How differentiated does a therapist need to be in order to work with, you've worked with one of the most difficult populations possible.
Yeah.
I would imagine that the topic of the therapist's own differentiation is an issue.
Yeah, of course. It's the whole treatment plan. But the therapist has to be clearly differentiated, not need the patient to admire or do anything other than facilitate payment of the bill, right? And that's not sarcastic. We have to be paid for this work. Yeah. We are religious figures. Yeah.
I was finding in your consultation that you give so much importance. Who's paying for what reason?
That's right. Exactly. Exactly. That's an important part of the diagnostic workup. An obvious common problem is the family sends the young adult for treatment, and the family would like to increase enmeshment and improve it. Therapy is going to work on differentiation, friendly differentiation.
Do you ever worry that the emphasis could be too much on differentiation and not a balance between differentiation and capacity for attachment? Or do you think that inside differentiation, there is also that already, the capacity then to attach to someone new and some new person?
Well, differentiation doesn't mean alienation.
Right, or isolation.
It means I exist separate from you, but we are together. that's too hard for people to understand. You have to spend a while with it, but you can't truly be together as an identified human being if you are separate.
Yeah.
If you define me, I don't know where I am.
Yeah, who are you?
Yeah.
Where is yourself?
Yeah. So it's more fun to play with playmates.
Two people that actually exist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. Servants, not so much.
And so, I guess you put out the book last year. It felt, for APA, it felt like a good kind of overview of a lot of your work, in a sense.
Thank you for that summary. Yes, I think that's a good summary. It's kind of like a report, up to date now, everything up to now.
Do you... I have to admit that when I read the book, I was sort of amazed because it felt like such a culmination of a huge journey. You know, through each different iteration. How was it for you to write that book? Because I know it took a long time.
Yes, it did. 10 years.
10 years.
Yes.
Are you proud of it?
Oh yes, I'm very pleased with that book.
Yeah. What's your hope for IRT and for this kind of work that you've done?
Oh, I don't care about name recognition for me or for IRT, but I care very much about the ideas.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is the idea that there is a solid biological, and I don't just mean inherited by biological, but physiological, neurochemical, biochemical basis for symptoms, and they've been queued up by interactions with loved ones, and no kidding, that's a major force.
Yeah.
And we need to understand the whole picture of how it works.
So that's something therapists need to know more about.
Yes, absolutely. I think so. Because you can understand the primacy of the threat system, for example. If people are frightened, they don't learn. And you can holler and yell at them all you want to, they become more frightened and learn less. But if you understand that the threat system activates anger, anxiety, depression, and there the focus is on the threat, it's not a good time to learn a new language. Right? Because you're focusing on the threat, and you're anxious, and you're mobilized. Focus on that.
My sense, and we were talking about this yesterday, that when you try to learn a model like IRT, the complexity of it makes you have to kind of pull from different parts of yourself. You have to pull from a part that's very good at exploring, very good at setting limits sometimes. Like the tasks are so different in a way that to train such a model kind of pulls you in all directions. That was definitely my sense when I was starting to train and supervise the model.
Well, thank you.
It's a compliment, I guess.
No, it's not easy.
Yeah.
How do you teach integration?
I guess it has to pull you in all directions.
Right. My conscious strategy of it is to emphasize principles. And the details are up to the creativity and preferences of the therapist.
So what you're saying in the sense that you can pick any model as long as it touches on these principles.
Yeah, as long as it's working with and recognizing the impact of attachment, the presence of the historic figures, and the high stakes that are associated with that. If you're supposed to be perfect or you're going to go to hell, that's a pretty big focus.
If the family in the head is telling you that.
Yes. And so you can have all the coping and containing and redirecting training that you want and that is helpful, but it's better to revisit that assumption. That's a basic idea.
To revisit the family.
Yes. The family in the head. I don't single out religion at all, but that's just, whatever the rationale, the mandate to be perfect, for example, is going to generate anxiety because you can't be perfect.
Yeah.
Maybe you can, but
I think we're both on the same page there. It kind of feels like in your model that we're always doing family therapy just in the head.
Yep.
But it's like always a systems therapy in a sense.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the first and noisiest family. Very compelling.
Lorna, I just want to take this little time, just to capture these ideas. There was no real, specific reason I wanted to get out of the conversation. I just want to have the time to also sit with you a bit and, tell you again how much I learned from you and what a wonderful experience it has been through all this time. Every time I was with you, I've always learned so much or had so much fun. And I really wanted to thank you for that.
Well, thank you, and the feeling is mutual. Alex, you're a peripatetic teacher and student and friend and colleague and teacher and learner. Something good in everything.
Well, I have good mentors. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.